Hello.
Hello. Welcome back, everybody. So, we return to the landing pad and the open field on LZ13. I owe you another roll on the analysis you were doing on the signal, Matt, which was complete before you left, but I forgot to kind of force the issue. So you have one more tech roll against the signal.
Sure. I do not have any void points to spend. That is a 19.
That is a success. So, looking over the cipher, you can see that the scrambling was kind of like a dual. The signal was scrambled, but it was done in a way which is a method called steganography to embed another signal inside a signal. So the second signal you get will be in your Twitch chat as soon as I get to the right chat.
Awesome. While Chris, he's already done it.
Yeah, it's a short one. So this time, and again for the YouTube people, the signal is just in quotation marks. I am cold in capitals.
Okay. Well, AI. Okay, so this is the signal. This is the distress signal, essentially.
Yes, embedded within the kind of the data packets was kind of information about. I mentioned the information earlier on. I gave you that. Let me check. I certainly gave you that information. I'm almost certain. Yeah, it was scrambled old military, and this was scrambled. The payload within that was
sure. So this is data, right? It's not like an audio thing that can be unscrambled. It's just the data reads this, right?
Okay. The data reads that
text transcript, right?
Okay, I'd lift a copy of it onto my my personal tablet, and as I kind of open the doors on the far flung and the airlock on the far flung and just the Dutch patio doors, and kind of like, I guess there's no ramp. There's probably just a short jump that has to be made. So do you say that gravity? What's gravity? Just like
it's half a G, so slightly worse than the moon. Very boingy.
Sure. Then I leap or drift down to the surface, I suppose, and I stride over to where Sun and Glitch are. Are both of you still in your suits, or have you kind of removed?
I'm still in.
I mean, if I take this, I'm in a big heavy suit, and if I take it off, I'm just going to be carrying more shit, right?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll leave it on for now.
It's also a 30-minute job.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe not to just remove the helmet.
I was like, if I click the helmet off, but even then it's like,
yeah.
And then I'm just carrying a huge helmet. Like,
and also I imagine that having the helmet in place helps the what would you call it? Like the structural coherency of the
integrity.
Itself, right?
It helps protect the structual coherency of my tiny waif of a 3 hit point body,
tiny soft
as well.
So. Well, anyway, Aoi is going to stride over and kind of hold out the data reading, that hidden data inside the signal, so that Sun and Glitch can just read it from the thing. And says, hidden in the signal. Could be psychological warfare, military. Could be something worse.
Cheery.
Well, if it's psychological warfare, it's no one that's met you, Aoi. So, look on the bright side. It's not personal.
I'm just going to look between.
Aoi will fix you with a. Like I say, when I say like a glare, it doesn't, not. Look, and maybe at this point, actually, even worth mentioning that maybe in the reflection from, maybe slightly reflecting the blue from the gas giant in the distance in the sky, I would say that even for hardened scavengers such as yourself, Aoi's eyes are hard to look directly into for a long period of time. They just have a sense of weight and age to them that makes it quite difficult to hold their gaze for a long period of time. Not mechanically or anything, just uncomfortable.
Now roll savvy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Sun will be just looking between fully hard EVA suited Glitch and Major, just quizzically.
All right. Well, I don't know what that means. I don't think anyone here knows what that means. What I do know is there's a prefab there that's probably full of interesting things, supplies, valuables.
We're here to scavenge, right?
I say we check that first, unless someone's got an objection.
Hey, he doesn't respond.
All right. Well, I've given AO their customary 5 seconds, and it's just actual silence. So let's go. I'm going to start trundling off clumsily in my big EVA suit towards the storage silo thing. Just, I guess it's a storage shed.
Yeah,
to the side.
I think we might have lost. Oh no, there he is.
It's recovering. Chris is recovering.
Perfect time for a dramatic satellite pause. You arrive at the door. It's certainly a normal, or doesn't appear to be any significant lock on it. Industrial in nature, but once again, this is absolutely a fuel dump. It's very clear immediately that this is a fuel dump. So,
what is the fuel situation on our ship? Incidentally, like, is this something that is of use to us, or is it?
Well, you're not too
there
sure.
is fuel there, but.
It definitely has the form of a fuel dump, but you're not too sure what fuel there is. And the thing about this universe is that there are as many ways to get around it as there are stars in the sky. So maybe certainly a wealth of fuel, but potentially not stuff that you can use in your ship.
And not, maybe by the sounds of it, that valuable either.
How about we roll what do you think would be a decent reflective probability? D6, D20? Like a 20 or a 6? Or, what would be the chance?
Roll me a D4 and tell me if you get a 1.
D4? Oh, okay.
Someone has to use the herb lighter.
It's not too bad. Use my fancy
on a
D4.
1, it explodes.
The least of all dice. That is a 4, I'm afraid.
That is almost, well, you don't know exactly what fuel's in there, but it's not going to be the right one.
Right. Yeah.
Unleaded.
Well, we'll use like a chemical fuel, right? Because we've got.
You definitely use a chemical fuel, but there are plenty of chemical fuels.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So, and what is here, by the sounds of it, isn't of value to scavenge, or
no? There's certainly money here. It's just there's not utility here. Is what I'm getting.
Right. I see.
And it's about storage as well, right? We have not got like a dedicated cargo
volume.
module, so
yeah. So we want small, high value to volume ratio is what we need, and fuel is.
I should point out that it would be unprecedented for something this old to have not been scavenged already.
Yes. Well, there are 10,000 moons in here that are all picked clean, right? So this to find anything is a bit crazy.
But we're getting paid somewhat just for coming out here and looking for the attending to the distress signal, right?
I think there's also the unwritten assumption that if you do actually strike it big, you'll be able to pay off that debt with the proceeds. But
Finesies, keepsies.
So looking around, there's no sign of that anybody else has been here, is there?
So you push into the building, and internally there's a lot more going on. It is definitely a storage location. You spot 2 specific kinds of fuel are available: palletized metallic hydrogen and Kerolox, much more obvious traditional rocket propellant. There is also a large box kind of in the middle, and it gives you a start when the box turns towards you, and on its kind of flat black matte exterior in neon green, a little message appears, which is in chat.
Nice.
Here we go.
And it's basically 2 emoji that seem enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I think Glitch is maybe going to sort of cock his head to one side quizzically, and then, I don't know, maybe just look at the other 2 and then start walking forwards towards it. Clumsily. bumping into things with the suit, probably.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so it's certainly there. It has zero expressions other than the ones it broadcasts, but it's not taking any action towards you. It seems to be a robot of some considerable sophistication. Very old technology, and in Death in Space, old technology is not necessarily bad or out of date. This is a sophisticated piece of equipment. It has not seemingly been damaged in any meaningful way. It has not been repaired in any meaningful way. It is a black ambulatory square with legs and little arms, and it seems pleased to see you.
How big is this thing? Like a couple of feet?
It's like,
in either.
Yeah, it's certainly a couple of feet. It's definitely it's a meter. It's like a kind of a dwarfish in stature humanoid. If a humanoid was a rectangular box with limbs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not to break law. I don't know. I'm a soul pod. Can I make a roll to see if I can remember seeing anything like this before?
Yeah, I think you can, but do you not have to spend a point, a darkness point?
I don't think so. I don't have any special ability for that.
I thought you
or is
did.
that a special?
Okay,
ability?
no, I'm thinking, yeah.
You're just
go ahead.
I think that might be glitches.
Yeah, sorry, I keep getting everyone mixed up, and I should be better at that. But go ahead and give me a tech roll. Let me see how your memory holds up.
No, I just figure like I might have seen this,
or at least that style
decades or centuries ago or something. Well, yeah, or the style of it. Tech roll, you say?
Yep.
That's an 11 plus 1, so
makes it a 12. You have seen this, and it does kind of date this structure for you. It puts it, as I mentioned, a very, very long time ago. Potentially, this installation is about millennium old, or at least that kind of automaton, that kind of assistant was popular back then. It should also be fully able to communicate normally, like that screen, but definitely in full sentences.
Aoi is going to. Do you mean audibly or just via?
It can do it audibly. Generally, your hazy memory understands that as they matured and got older, they tend to stick to text.
Okay, Aoi is going to stride forward with some confidence and look down at the thing and start speaking to it in a language I would say the equivalent is like someone modern hearing someone speaking Old or Middle English.
Yeah, it's definitely
like language will have moved since this period of time.
Sure.
And we'll say what are your what would the phrasing be? What are your orders, parameters? What is your
function?
What is your function? Twitch chat.
Nice.
The response is, my name is Juice and I do fuel.
Oh, I love this robot. That's Glitch. Glitch loves this robot.
Do you have any outstanding commands or what? Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
That's his next response.
Aoi kind of looks slightly irritated and waves that away and says, do you have any outstanding commands? Is there anyone here whose instructions you've been following? Oops. When did they leave?
Oh my god, I got a transmission problem on that one. Just a second.
It's entirely up to you two, I guess, how much you can understand. I mean, you can understand what's written.
All I'm getting is the responses here.
Yeah.
A shuttle left 5 or 6 hours ago. Aoi doesn't like that response and is going to kneel down and start to run some diagnostic checks on the thing to make sure it hasn't just like been in hibernation for 800 years and thinks that it's 6 hours ago, whereas it's actually
was
806 hours ago, or not 806 hours. You know what I mean.
Adorable.
Is that a tech check?
Yeah, go ahead.
18.
Damn.
It's in great working order.
Like really great working order? Or
It's in really great working order.
Relative.
Relative's a good word for it.
Aoi, ask it how many people were on that shuttle.
I
So there
do
is-
so.
If there really is a shuttle with some indeterminate number of people coming back here very soon, that's something I want to know about.
I like to imagine that it's why did
Wow.
they leave?
Slight smirk on Chris's face is not encouraging.
Xenomorph.
Oh dear.
They were happy, then they were sad, then they
And
were
then-
indifferent, and then they left.
Mm,
Is that Aoi? Is that some kind of code? Do you
They were attacked by capitalism?
I am assuming I don't recognize that code and it just comes off as an error signal.
That code is an ancient one known as the keyboard smash, generally used to encrypt a sense of fear or confusion.
Sure. In that case, Aoi doesn't respond to Glitch's question.
Thinking back to the landing pad we landed on, was there any sign that something had left, like displaced, like scorch marks, or yes?
So there's a
something
couple of
on
things.
landing pad too, right?
There is something on landing pad 2. There is actually a shuttle there. Landing pad 1 was very clean.
I don't think that shuttle left.
I think it never got off the ground. Yeah.
Glitch. Return my EVA suit to the ship. With this. I tap the robot with my foot.
Okay. Come on, little guy. Time to go. Do I have to, like, cajole? We need a name. I'm going to call him Juice. Yes, his name is Juice. He's Juice. Yeah. Do I need to cajole Juice, or does he just kind of, like, affably come along?
He seems pretty affable. Maybe you detect him being quite close in the manner of maybe a scared child, perhaps.
Oh, okay. Well,
I can see why Chris picked this scenario.
Yeah, I'll shepherd Juice along then back to the shuttle, back to our ship, I should say.
Aoi is going to search the fuel depot for anything that could be used as a weapon, which I suppose includes maybe taking that stanchion rod off Sun if necessary. By the way, like, don't feel like you have to. Like, I just want to make sure that people know I'm not being bossy. Aoi just assumes that they are in command.
No, but like, that's actually a good excuse because Glitch likes the cute robot, doesn't like danger. Well, in this kind of context, the uncertainty of there being like 30 people around, being close to the ship works fine for Glitch in this particular situation.
Yeah. Okay. You don't find this is not where the guns are kept. What you find is, like I said before, a lot of palletized metallic hydrogen and a decent amount of Keralox, which is prodigiously flammable, but otherwise not easily weaponizable.
I mean, Sun will shrug if you're, indicate for the stanchion. Sun will shrug and hand it over.
Definitely better that you take it, but AOE doesn't really care about party optimization.
So,
optimizations for cowards.
Ergo, on the way over, you get this little message from Juice.
Oh, good. That's encouraging.
We don't see that, presumably.
You don't see that.
Only I see that because it's text. So, okay. Well, that's exactly the kind of thing that would pique Glitch's interest. So, I think Glitch is actually going to stop. I guess it's like about halfway back to the ship, and take a knee and try to interface the tablet that he has with Juice, and basically try to tap into that, basically to his knowledge base about, well, I guess, like cartographics again, about sort of the like stellar charts and stuff that this robot would have access to.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's just a tech roll.
Let me see. I don't have any void points at the moment, so it's a straight plus d20 plus 1. That's a 4. That's a 4 plus 1. That's a fail.
So you notice that this is the protocols here are very, very old. We've been talking about kind of the potential age of this thing. You can't. It's going to take a research team to remember how to talk to it at the system level.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess Glitch then sort of, acknowledging that this is far beyond the scope of their sort of amateur enthusiast level abilities, sort of, takes the jackpot back and, shrugs and says, well, I don't know what you mean, little buddy, but let's go back to the ship. And is just going to see if Juice wants to elaborate. If Juice doesn't elaborate, then he's like, I don't know. That's too vague. Whatever. Just goes back to the ship.
I'm actually, Sun, like in a moment of thought, will suddenly not run, but as speedily as possible, like remember something and then head over to Glitch and the robot and ask, are you cold?
Are you directing that at the robot?
I just say it, but I'm,
I think that's slightly robot, so no. I think I turn and that slightly unsettles Glitch for a reason that he maybe can't quite put his finger on. And he just kind of looks at Sun, who's actually quite an unsettling figure already. It's kind of, as much as you can emote in a huge clunky spacesuit that's hard shell, just kind of like, what do you mean?
That message from earlier. AOI did show us, didn't they? The I am cold message.
I don't know.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Message about breaking the distress signal. Yeah.
But AOI didn't go into any detail. Being AOI was just completely terse.
It was the formatting. I say the formatting of the message. I just wondered whether it was the robot reaching out.
I don't know. It looks down at Juice and then sees the message on Juice's screen. It's just like, no, doesn't look like it. Hey, shouldn't you be with AOI?
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to the ship now. Glitch just kind of wanders off, slightly bemused.
So anyway, just to kind of finish off in this room, it's not a treasure trove here in terms of the actual raw value of the fuel. But once again, while you can certainly lift some of these canisters and put them back in the ship, is that there's so much unlooted and seemingly ancient stuff here.
AOE is going to wait and see what's in the rest of the facility before loading up on what may be relatively cheap fuel compared to whatever else is here. AOE is now just standing outside the fuel depot, kind of coolly gazing at the shuttle on the landing platform and just waiting for Sun and Glitch to return.
Do you want to give me a savvy roll based on that kind of gazing?
Yeah, because I was going to say as well, do I recognize the shuttle? Or the type of shuttle, whatever.
The shuttle
model.
Yeah, like is it old tech? Is it, you know? Well, the savvy roll you asked for is 17.
That's great. You can't really tell the state of the shuttle, but what you can see now that you're just kind of looking over it, I say you can't tell. You can tell that you do not recognize. What you do recognize, however, are some lumpy lumps on the ground that, now that you have looked into it, seem to resolve into not stone, not of the surface of the rock. Definitely difficult to see because once again. Say again?
Are there about 30 of them?
No, but certainly worth going to look at.
Okay, AOE is waiting for Sun and Glitch.
Well, you're going to
go anywhere near that shuttle.
I tell you this for free, mate. You're going to be pondering this weird shit for like half an hour while Glitch tries to get this suit.
That's fine. That's
true.
Okay,
fine.
Cool. So
AOE has all the time in the world.
You know, like
so.
Half an hour.
Ergo, once you get back to the ship, it's a fairly easy job to get yourself and indeed Juice into the ship. There's a little crane on the side and has a specific little hook that seems almost as if it was made for it or of the same era to kind of hook on and get carried into the bowels of the ship. Juice is perfectly happy to assist you and is quite capable in removing the garb.
Cool. So does Juice have little sort of appendage?
Yeah, it's got little arms, appendages,
little grabbers and things or whatever for. Yeah.
It's actually got two, but once inside, it'll actually, the little ports on the side open and a couple of more come out and they're all able to kind of work independently. So many hands literally make light work literally.
Very good. Okay, well, I will thank Juice because Glitch is prone to anthropomorphizing cute robots.
So while we're waiting, you actually get the chime back because I believe I owe you a success on your question from earlier. Was it?
Well, at the very least, a roll. I don't know.
Had we not rolled? Yeah. So I believe that. So what was the question again? Because that's going to change.
What I was trying to do, what Glitch was trying to do, was to correlate the coordinates he received in that cryptic message on the station about a weapon with the directionality, the source of wherever this distress beacon is, and see and basically compare, try and find any relation if they're in similar locations or have similar patterns to them. You know.
Let's go for that roll then.
Okay, is that going to be tech?
Yes, definitely.
Cool. That is a 12 plus 1, 13.
That is a fail. No, it's the opposite of a fail. Exactly.
That is a failure.
No, you get the answers you're looking for. The first thing, if we recall the message, LZ13 contains a weapon. Find it, bring it to me. Setanta, 55 degrees, 170 kilometers. Setanta is the name of one of the failed terraformed planets in one of the inner belts. It's entirely uninhabitable, a toxic world. Right. 55 degrees, 170 kilometers is the numbers you would need to understand an orbit. So that's the indication. A little bit more deep analysis on the packet doesn't give you anything. Whoever put this together spent a lot of time to make sure that it was stripped of any kind of identifying information.
Right. Okay.
In terms of what you get from the landing pad itself, I mean, obviously you've seen there is a gun on the top of the near building. Maybe hard to tell. In terms of where the distress beacon is actually originating from in the system, you also triangulate that a little bit better in the left cluster of buildings.
Sorry, I just missed the second half of that. I triangulate a little bit better, and
it's in the left cluster.
It's in the left cluster. Okay, gotcha. Okay, and so basically, the long and short of it is that other signal, those coordinates are for a completely different celestial body.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So you have some time before Glit finishes their work. So what are you doing about the outside?
You're always just standing there for half an hour waiting.
Yeah, I will just stand there silently and motionlessly for literally as long as it takes for Glitch and Sun to return, unless prompted to do something. Or at times, Aoi does this. We'll just stop and just seemingly exist.
Sun,
they
relatable.
don't seem to.
Are you going along with this
passage of
Zen nonsense, or are you going to take some action?
Zen nonsense.
I mean, it's Sun is of a similar disposition, actually, in some ways, but perhaps in this instance, might wander around the circumference of the of this sort of, it's kind of a courtyard area, isn't it? It's I'll just sort of look around, observe these other buildings, see if there are any identifying marks, but I'm not exactly going full up to approach them, just sort of getting the lie of the land, I guess, if you like.
I'd say you begin to make out the blotches, the spots, the unevenness that I mentioned to Matt a little earlier.
Okay.
Definitely irregular lumps, man-sized lumps on the ground. I'd also ask to make another savvy roll, please.
Okay. Right. Well, I'm going to buck the trend and not use my one.
Oh, you're crazy.
I know.
He's a maverick.
14. So
That is a
sadly,
success.
yes. Lovely.
A little round, you do sense more than likely perceive movement in the corner of your eye, kind of in that little courtyard between the building on the left and the building at the top. You detect some kind of a disturbance.
Okay.
Sort of around here, Chris.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
I will over sort of our local comms. I'll call. I think I can see something over here.
I don't think you'll reach anyone now.
Oh, because
Yeah, you're on your own right now, unless you shout.
And being,
I don't think I have, as part of my equipment, I don't think I have I don't have like a comms device or anything. So.
And I'm halfway through taking all of that stuff off.
So okay, well, like a couple of seconds will go by then, and you'll see. Well, if anybody was watching, Sun's sort of attitude, like body would shift a bit and kind of maybe like sigh. And then, so this is a light EVA suit. It's not as cumbersome to put on and remove as the heavy one. So he'll start tapping at his the control panels and like facing away from Major, from AI. So he'll slowly and carefully take his helmet off and then fish out from a side pocket his mask, put it back on, and then turn around, like, a couple of experimental breaths, bit late for that anyway, and sort of shout to Major that I think I saw something over here in the corner.
You're on mute, Matt.
Aoi will blink slightly as if waking, turn their head slowly and just kind of calmly make their way over to where Sun is standing.
So there is this is in a pit of blackness. So, like as I said before, you're kind of dual tone here, either painfully illuminated or entirely unpenetrable blackness. And this little corner is quite difficult to see anything directly.
Well, I'll crack a light stick and lob it towards the corner then, I guess.
You see nothing. It seems a perfectly normal location. I suppose I should ask for a savvy roll, because you're definitely paying attention.
17.
15.
Perfect. You both notice that there are footprints.
Where are those footprints leading?
Through the gap.
Like between the two buildings?
Between the two buildings, yes.
Okay.
Where's Glitch at this point? Am I sort of on my way back yet, or am I still?
Yeah, I think let's reunite the party. I'm not going to strictly enforce the. Although, can you you get out of the ship again, and you actually notice you get out. There's a little bit of movement in the air now. There's a like a slight breeze, a zephyr, and it's pretty chilling, refreshing still, but chilling.
Okay. Strange. Well, I guess not knowing any better, Glitch is on their way back to the storage depot thing to meet.
Oh, you can clearly
you
see because you can see them standing kind of toward the center, I suppose, of the two little converging roads there.
I'll walk briskly straight towards them then, because I don't know what's happening. I'm half an hour out of date.
As soon as Glitch approaches, Aoi will say, "The footprints are worth investigating, but I suggest we look at this shuttle first. See what happened to them before. They could make their way off. Also, if they're military, they might have guns."
Agreed. Agreed. You've covered the bases, Aoi. Agreed. Let's go and check this shuttle out.
On the you said there were like man-sized forms on the ground. Are they are some of them on the way to that shuttle?
Yes,
or
they are
just around it.
Yeah, there's definitely a small. There's I'd say there's 3 individual lumps. As you get closer, there definitely seem to be body sized. They're prone.
Okay, I'm gonna approach the first one I can reach.
Yeah, you see kind of frozen, absolutely frozen, a dead body. 3 dead bodies, in fact. All 3 of them are there. They are dressed in kind of raggle equipment. They seem behind them is strewn kind of some odds and ends, like a little bag full of which has spilled out, which contain just kind of little bits and pieces. They aren't dressed in a uniform, but they do look like they were
In a what? Sorry.
Hurry.
Right. So they weren't in EVA suits of any kind then?
No.
They have any weapons on them?
They do not.
Can we tell how they died? Did they freeze after? Or
They're visible wounds.
Yeah.
Oh, visible wounds.
What are their expressions like?
I mean, they seem to have been dead for quite a while, so their expressions are quite corrupted by rigor, rigor mortis. But they are they're not happy. They weren't enjoying the moment.
Can I estimate? I mean, AOI's seen a lot of bodies. Can AOI estimate whether the level of, I don't know how rigor mortis is affected by, oh no, there is an atmosphere, can determine whether these look like bodies that have been here for longer than 5 to 6 hours?
Yeah, I think it's about time we rolled for that. So if you want to give
savvy
me
roll.
a savvy roll, yeah.
20!
Oh, wow.
Lord.
Jesus.
So the temperatures you're experiencing so far could not free someone solid. But other than that, these bodies do not, they are obviously preserved at the time of death, but they don't seem to be, have been exposed for all that long. They're definitely in the 6 hour, 7 hour category.
Okay.
Is AOI relaying that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's believable that they've only been here dead for 6 hours.
That would require this moon to get very cold very quickly, right?
It would also require the distress signal to have been sent weeks before the deaths.
Maybe they were just responding to it like we are.
Maybe they are not the ones who sent the distress signal.
Exactly.
One of the things you notice, Matt, is that while they are not dressed in military fatigues, they are wearing that particular era of clothing which would date them to the older, up to that millennia old liveliness of the structure.
Can I make a savvy roll? Can I make a savvy roll to see? And it's up to you how you want to handle the results of it. If I succeed, obviously, I want AOI to make a roll to see if what they think the chances are that one of these installations could survive for centuries out here with this level of technology. Like just undisturbed or whatever, versus that there's essentially some kind of void-based time fuckery going on here. That essentially maybe why this asteroid doesn't appear on records is because it's
Not supposed to be here
through
Yeah.
time here.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a savvy roll, and it is standard difficulty. But I'll be limiting the information I give you based on.
Sure, of course, yeah. Just like whether AOI would have any suspicions of stuff like that, given the long life they've led. Well, that's a 10, so no.
No.
But you do get a void point, so
Yes,
You have
Go for it.
Yeah, you've certainly twigged that there are a number of threads here that aren't lining up perfectly well.
Yeah, and AOI will express none of them to the others.
Well, if you had, Glitch would have just, been sassy anyway.
I presume Glitch hasn't mentioned anything about the robot saying that the stars were wrong.
Not yet, but it's an old robot which, while in good sort of working order,
Yeah,
been left on its own for a long time.
Probably nothing to worry about.
I don't think Glitch puts a lot of stock in that.
If it's been inside the depot for 1,000 years and walked out, the stars would be wrong.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's
I
exactly.
expect it's just a calibration error, So, right. Are we? I think Glitch's getting a bit tired of staring at corpses at this point, and
Onwards to the shuttle.
Should we check the shuttle? There's only so much we can glean from these frozen cadavers, and they're not getting any more talkative.
Let's go ahead with so Can I get a tech roll for anyone who's focusing on kind of the mechanics of the shuttle, and a savvy roll from anyone who is focusing kind of on the circumstances of the shuttle? And you can't do both.
I will
take
go for
a tech roll.
savvy.
An 11 plus 1, 12 tech.
A 19 tech.
11 savvy, so I fail.
Okay, so a little about the shuttle. The shuttle is an antique, like so many of the other things you've seen here. It is in good working order, were it not like frozen over to the extent where it's been damaged by the ice and the ice buildup on the external, on the outside of the shuttle. Yeah, that's the information on the technology side of things. It'll fly again, just not within the next like couple of weeks.
Oh well, okay. Never mind. I was going to ask if there's any discernible, if it's a fuel gauge, if it's power, but if it's not going to fly in a few weeks because it needs,
I think it's fair with the rules you've got to say that that's a thought that occurs to you, and you check on this. It is fully fueled, and it takes metallic. It's a metallic hydrogen chemical engine, so old and reliable and efficient and built at the height of its era.
Clearly not reliable enough.
So there's, I think, because Glitch is sort of contemplating, given the amount of unknowns and variables flying around right now, like whether we should spin up that shuttle just to have a plan B, or there might be some other use for it other than flying it, use for it being, initialized. But if it's not going to fly for weeks, yeah.
Are you actually able to get inside it, or is it like frozen?
Let's crack
shut?
it open.
It is frozen shut.
Okay.
I say frozen shut. It's not encased in ice, but it seems that the door is kind of not giving way easily.
Right. So like temperature has
And the
warped
electronics
metal
are dead. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Like I said, definitely something that could be worked on, but you'd need a heat source. You'd need like maybe a scaffold. You'd need to work it.
Can we see inside? Can I kind of try and get to a stage where I can like climb up and look through it, or is it just a solid?
Much like Aoi's ship, actually similar in a number of ways. It's a little more utilitarian, but similarly windowless.
I think Glitch is really curious about, because this thing is, while old and frozen shut, it's kind of pristine, right, in many ways, and it's from seemingly everything here seems to be from this bygone era and fairly untouched. So I think Glitch is going to try to crack the door seals with their fusion welder.
Oh, good shout. Yeah. I think that's going to be. I think that's tech roll.
Tech. Okay. This seems like kind of a big roll, so I'm going to spend my void point on this one. So I don't have any void points left. Oh, come on. That is a 16 and a 15, both +1, so 17 tech.
Yep, that works fine. You managed to get the door into an extent where you can crack it open by an emergency release. Inside, similarly frozen like those outside, are the bodies of about like 26 people kind of strapped into chairs. They look, most of them look very disheveled, but for one or two who are in kind of a military uniform.
Yeah, Glitch is like honing in on basically trying to find useful items in here. That's kind of why he did this. So yeah, I think he's going to go straight to the ones in fatigues.
Yep, the ones who are dressed well, they both have weapons. One has an arc smart rifle, which is a heavy-ish piece of equipment. It's a 2-slaughter.
Wow.
And the other has a pistol. Alas, the pistol has no ammunition, but the arc rifle seems to still have a cartridge installed.
Okay, I think I think Glitch with barely concealed giddy excitement will pick up that arc rifle and the pistol and sort of bring them out and be like, look what I found. Sort of almost childlike enthusiasm.
So I will have yelled once he'd gone inside. I'd have shouted, why didn't it launch at some point? So
Aoi says, I have working theories.
go on.
It seems to me that this was not an assault or a slow encroachment, but a singular event. Perhaps there is an explanation for it in those buildings, but I am wondering if there is an event caused by some kind of transmission or transition at play here. In short, I am wondering if this asteroid was here 6 hours ago.
And Sun will kind of turn to look at Glitch at that point.
I think Glitch will return the look with a sort of slightly deflated expression and say, really knows how to suck the joy out of a situation.
Aoi is going to take advantage of this slight sagging of their companions to reach out and calmly take the unloaded pistol.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to give it to Sun because I figured you could just use your withering stare, but I guess you can figure it out between you.
I'm assuming that I am familiar with the nature of this. Is it safe to say I'd have used a pistol like this before, like this 1,000-year-old pistol?
I don't mean to offend gun nuts in any way, but guns are generally pointy end at enemy pull thing.
Yeah.
As you are not specifically familiar with this, it looks like any number of small chemically propelled kind of handguns. The technology may differ vastly between the eons that have passed, but the general outcome is the same.
But AI, even if it's not loaded, with the knowledge that an unloaded pistol can be as useful as a loaded pistol, will take the weapon and will be carrying it from henceforth.
Can Glitch ascertain roughly how much ammunition is in this rifle? I mean, I'm assuming there's no spare ammunition lying around in the dropship. It's going to be a scarce thing.
Not, and the rifle on the little power cartridge, because it's an arc rifle, it's an energy weapon.
Yeah,
demonstrates it has 5 charges. And in the chat, you will see the stats for that at the internal chat. So you're welcome to jot that down if you want to form an attachment to it.
Yeah, short-lived. Probably.
The pistol's there as well, but bear in mind it's got 0 uses because it's ammo-less at the moment.
Not 0 uses. Zero bullets.
0 conventional uses.
Quite often, pointing the pistol at something does the same job as firing it.
I mean, only if you don't go pew 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 pew, because then
It's true. That's true.
Takes the sting out of the whole
And
thing.
they have to have a functioning intelligence as well. But
Aoi is so. When you said the turret, there's like a gun turret. Chris, is that this or is that?
No, it's the one. Yeah, it's that. Yeah,
the big one. Okay. Is this anything, or is it just like a?
Is that
machine?
piping or barrels?
It's a piping system. It seems to be a kind of looks like a generator of some description.
Like part of the life support.
Okay.
Yeah, part of the life support, but it seems to be not connected to anything.
Okay. So am I right in saying, because this is where AO is going to suggest we go, that part of this building here is in light and part of it's in shadow?
Yeah, kind of. There's definitely a pool of shadow where the two buildings meet.
Where these meet.
I wouldn't say it's 50%, but the building is well illuminated.
Okay. AOE is going to indicate this building here and say a place to start.
do we want to see where the footsteps led? whether they go to that building.
They go between, right through
They
the
go
crack.
between here, but where do they come from?
Do they just start like abruptly?
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. Like
or
you said, they
in the
led
light?
off in this way, but where do they come
A
from?
great question, and one that would prompt a savvy roll from the two people making it.
From the people who saw the footsteps,
Yeah.
footprints.
Yeah, I haven't
that is a
seen it.
fail from me.
Oh, that's a fail from me as well.
Neither of you can figure out which way around a foot goes.
Maybe they were muddled.
In fairness, it's a distance away, and even with the intense chemical light from the hyperglow stick, it's not immediately apparent.
Any challenge to the to going to that northerly building?
But shrugs. Good a place to start as any.
Yeah.
I prefer staying in the light. So there's that.
AoE will stride over there then.
It springs to mind that the zephyr of wind earlier is now a palpable breeze. It's cold.
Oh boy.
Okay, you reach the building itself. The door itself is 100% just a door. It doesn't seem to have any major security locks on it.
I'm opening it.
Yeah. So inside, you feel the warmth actually. Inside there is what seems to be kind of a corridor / service room. There is a lot of cold weather gear. There's some skis and bits and pieces. There are several dead bodies on the floor, one of which has a ski pole through its head.
Okay.
That takes a fair amount of force, I'd imagine.
This is the first time we have seen a body that appeared to just not have died of cold. That doesn't mean that this was intentional.
It would be an impressively way to accidentally die.
Some force may have exerted itself.
So, looking around the room, so are there signs of a struggle? Can Sun determine whether whether a fight has broken out here, or?
There's definitely a strewed collection of stuff on the floor. To your right, there is just audible. Now that you're kind of taking a moment to think, you can hear a kind of muttering.
Like a human muttering, or like a
definitely language, but at this distance you can't make out the words. And it's also fairly quiet.
Okay, is that muttering coming from the right side of the chamber we're in, or is it because there's a door, right?
It's through the door. You can hear it through from the other side of the door.
How quick is it to get this cold weather equipment on? He will come back to us the time it takes to put cold weather equipment on.
What a face to freeze on, though.
Absolutely.
There we go.
There he is.
And back. So the cold weather gear is kind of ski jackets and stuff.
Right, sure. Yeah.
High-tech future ski jackets.
Well, then Aoi is going to indicate the rifle that Glitch is using and point to that door, and they're going to do that while they're pulling on.
Yeah, Glitch is gonna sort of take a knee to steady himself and try and cover that door, because that shit's spooky. What's Sun doing?
I think trying to listen, maybe heading to one side of the door and just trying to listen to what's the muttering, try and understand it if I can.
So just to clarify, Sun is closest to the door should it open and a ravening void beast
What's-
Excellent. Good. No,
I don't know what you
it's
mean.
fine. What?
Anyway,
Apologies.
void beasts are friendly.
The Bluetooth
True.
here, so
Hello. What's
Oh, is that the muttering?
garbled? Yeah, I can't understand head or tail of that.
Okay, I'm back now. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
You've gone slightly robotic. You are now the muttering, Chris. You sound digitized.
Oh, I see what's happened here. Give me just a.
Oh, it switched.
It's
his
quite
mic.
atmospheric.
It switched his mic. It's done this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's done this before.
Okay, I've switched to standard. Does that make any difference?
Nope.
Still
Same.
Okay, I'm going to have to leave and re-enter. So if someone
worries.
could entertain yourselves for just a hot.
Suddenly, it's a godless universe. For 4
Oh,
5
dear.
seconds.
Dear, oh dear.
Absolute
Death in
anarchy.
Space, folks. If you've
Yeah.
enjoyed it so far, and we're not sponsored by Free League or Stockholm Cartel, we would be.
If we could be.
So just put that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. if
Open.
you're enjoying
We're open to it.
this lovely book.
Okay, that should be much better now.
Yes.
It's much better now.
There we go. Apologies for that weird Bluetooth muckings. So where are we? So we're setting up to breach, I suppose, for want of a better word, with AI Major in big fluffy ski coat and Glitch with ready with a rifle. And Sun, what were you doing?
I'm listening. I'm trying to hear what the muttering is.
Okay,
So I'm
I'll
kind
get a
of
savvy
by the
roll from
door.
you to get
Okay.
to get that.
I'm going to use a void point now because I'm clocking up these void points and they're scaring me. So
I have
Roll
two
with
now, and I
advantage.
regret not using the first
yeah,
one.
I've got 3. So. Oh, that's okay though. I got a 16, so that's good.
Nice.
You can hear a woman's voice just make out what sounds like it's difficult to discern the exact words, but it sounds like reading a list.
Just from the intonation. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. It's definitely kind of a thing, 2 things, a thing,
Okay.
another thing.
I'll look at the others and just sort of shake my head. I can't. Yeah, don't know what it is.
Is someone going to open? I mean, this glitch saying, someone going to open this, or are we just going to listen to this spook fest?
AOA will take a couple of paces forwards, kind of pistol in one hand, just reach out with the other. And how does the door open? Is it swing door? Does it slide aside? What,
It's the future, so let's say it's a little sliding door.
Sure, and we'll just tap whatever control will, mechanically.
The door opens, and you can hear a lot better now. It's definitely a voice, and it's listing out provisions in an accent that strikes you as a little bit weird. Matt put it well, like Chaucerian, perhaps. But they're going like beans, 2 hours, 75 calories, frozen peas, water ration, frozen peas, biscuits, 2 days, 163 calories.
I'm going to call out hello in an appropriate dialect for that period.
You get a kind of sudden scream, and you can see this slight woman looking terrified in kind of fatigues, surrounded by the inside. This is a storeroom, and she is surrounded by what's left of the store's food and stuff. She is holding up a small device that looks a bit like some bizarre gun and pointing it at you.
No need for that. We came in response to the distress signal.
You're warm. You're warm. Where are the others? I didn't. The engine. Where's the? She kind of slumps back on the floor.
If you are referring to the individuals who attempted to escape via the shuttle, they all appear to be deceased.
My God, they're going to come. There's too much light. You got to get out. We've got to get away. Have you got a ship? We must leave.
We do have a ship, but we will require answers before we take such action.
Okay, we gotta go.
Why?
What? Why? I needed food. I've been here 2 days.
Well, then it seems you've been a lot more comfortable than your companions. 2 days. They had been dead a matter of hours, according to the robot we located. Why the discrepancy?
Juice, Juice, is he okay?
It is a robot. Yes, it is functional.
What discrepancy? It's been. I've been here 2 days. I had to. The three of the dead. They walked in, and I dealt with one of them and hit up here.
Glitch sort of is sauntering in slightly late to this conversation and catches that and is like, sorry, 3 of the dead walked in here?
I mean, this is still, the language is still kind of odd for us, isn't it?
Oh,
it's
right.
intelligible, but it's definitely
Right,
like...
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll look
we'll
at
say
Glitch
that
at
that's
that
the
point.
only tiny bit I understood. And I'm intuiting, to me it sounds like she's saying basically 3 zombies sauntered in. That's probably not what she meant, but Glitch is just confused.
She can't have meant that.
The cold and dead. Them and the frost sprites. They just we tried to evacuate. I didn't make it.
What year do you believe it is?
The year of our Lord.
I'm assuming there's some kind of...
Yeah.
Or even if there's not a calendar used now, there was a calendar used 1,000 years ago, and AOI will know it.
It's 8263 standard. It is not. The calendar you have is has got about 3020, but no one really counts years anymore, and no one calls anything standard because there's no real centralized anything anymore.
So, can I make a savvy roll to grasp when relatively to now that would have been? Because while AOE existed, perhaps for that, I haven't really nailed down exactly how old AOE is. There's also the question of AOE's memory.
Yeah, 100%, and that's a good chance to make a savvy roll.
It is, and you know what? I'm going to use a void point for this because I'm super interested. Not because I think it's massively crucial, but because I'm super interested in it. That is a 3, which is bad, and an 11, which plus 1 savvy makes a 12, so that works.
Yeah, the last time there was a calendar that had the pretense to call itself standard is the same time frame where people thought metallic hydrogen was the next big thing for spaceship rockets.
Does it line up with that? I think we said 1,800 years ago sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Aoi kind of looks over at their companions and says, an event. It is not that year. You are off by 800-900 years.
Okay. Do in your time, do you still have spaceships?
We do.
Because we have to leave.
The next module I am installing is a brig. Is there anything in the room apart from food storage?
Lots of nice food. Plenty good, yes. Yum, yum. So can someone roll a d6 and tell me if you get a 5 or 6? Anyone can do it, actually, because you're all taking a look around here.
Okay.
I just rolled a 6.
Nice.
I did not.
Perfect. So you're kind of while interested in this glitch, you are also kind of looking around. You do find on one of the lower shelves, you find equipment spares, and you find 4 or 5 decent small components for repair that are they're old, but they're still very much usable. So you can have yourself, if you've got space to carry them, you can have 3 units of small repair equipment.
Yeah, I'll bung it in the sort of satchel bag that Glitch habitually has over one shoulder or whatever.
You're basically
Mini
cutting like
pockets.
hand dryers from a toilet, but they still have like significant logic and networking attachments and stuff that
Yeah.
can be broken down to repair.
They're Internet of Things hand dryers from old toilets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Aoi has been long enough to know that when there's food, you eat the food. So they are going to grab whatever easy, like protein bar, like whatever, the easiest thing to just literally unwrap and ram into their craw is. And as they do so, through a mouthful, we'll turn to the survivor and say, "Why do you fear the light? I would have thought the dark would be where the cold was."
I don't fear the light. I just needed a location that was secure.
Oh, I thought no. Sorry, I may have misheard. Then at the beginning, I thought she said something about
I thought so.
there's
The
too
light
much
is-
light.
there's too much light or something like that.
Oh my god, have I forgotten this already? And I was the one who said it.
It's all right.
Oh,
Those
whoops,
are
sorry,
one of the
retcon.
things
Retcon is fine. Retcon. That's fine then. Then Aoi does not ask that question. Instead, they say frost sprites.
The military, when they took the place, they started digging. Then people started dying, and rising again. The sprites are the ones who, they're so cold.
Hmm.
They're not.
Digging.
They're not all here either.
What equipment do they use to dig?
In the crater, they all kept it very, very secretive. But there's a forward camp in the crater. But they came back one day with a loader and several chunks of ice. They seemed very happy with themselves.
And these beings came from the ice.
They're so cold.
Did you send the distress signal?
We weren't really. We kept apart the civies and the Callisto guys.
Do I recognize the name Callisto?
You don't.
Okay.
They're all dead.
We found no one else alive.
If we're lucky, they'll stay that way. We must go.
Aoi is swinging between taking that advice and not. But they're certainly going to at least investigate the other room in this building.
Yeah.
There's a room on the
So
left.
on the other side of the room, you can actually find a door that is locked, protected by a key card. Inside, you can see behind through the shadows. You can kind of figure out that it's some kind of common room.
Are we all sort of piling through now into that room, or
Locked by a key card, wasn't it? I turn to the survivor. Can you open this?
I can't. No, hang on. She goes over to the corpses in the ground and kind of. You notice they're in military fatigues, and she fishes out a card. Guess this one won't be needing it anymore. It's just the common room. She hands you the card.
I use the card, and then. So, does this door exist here as well that leads to a further room back?
Yes, once you open the main room, you find yourself in a much colder common room. And above you, you find another door into a bunk room barrack.
Does a quick visual scan, a quick visual pat down, reveal anything obvious or interesting?
apart from the dead bodies, everything's completely normal. There are 3 frozen, solid dead bodies on the ground. They don't seem to have been in an altercation. They're just cold and dead. The place is in a degree of disarray. It seems that people tried to leave very quickly.
Aoi will start slowly walking towards this central room and say to the others, we have a choice to make. These individuals presumably knew what they were dealing with and they all died. Do we feel that this survivor is enough to satisfy our contract?
What's the wording? What's the exact
What is the
wording on the
wording?
contract?
Well, I suppose the exact wording is that you do need to money. So you're not really paying to do this. This was given to you more or less as a favor. The understanding is that you need to go back with something worthwhile.
But is a survivor from 1,000 years in the past worthwhile?
Or who
And the
claims
robot.
to be, whether they believe
There's
us.
another mouth to feed.
Juice should be valuable.
Yeah.
Juice is, in fact, juice is pretty gosh darn valuable, yeah. But of course, in this day and age, you can't just sell them for parts. They are a person, an artificial person, but a person.
I would be under the impression that in Death in Space, no matter whether they are a person or not, you can sell them for parts.
Oh yeah. There would probably be. They would be selling their bits for all their stuff, but they would be the ones doing the bits.
Okay.
Unless they can't defend themselves, in which case, it's not a nice universe we live in.
Then, unless any of their companions proposes anything else, Aoi will pace out of the front of this building, and presumably all of this building is in shadow over here.
Yes, pretty much. There's some light hitting kind of the gun turrets as
Right,
dawn
at
is
the
very,
top
very
of-
slowly processing.
Aoi's going to point to what presumably is a large, looks like a large kind of cargo doorway here and here. But he's going to point over to this here and say, "Sun, maybe some illumination."
It's still actually illuminated because didn't you toss a glow stick?
Oh
into
yeah,
that
yeah,
corner?
it
the
was
corner,
there.
it
Yeah,
is,
okay.
yeah.
Do we investigate the footprints?
I would like to see where they go.
There ain't. Yeah, I mean,
There is a crash behind you,
Back in the
Back
building
in
we
the-
came from.
back in the door.
Okay. Spinning to look.
yeah, 100% spinning with gun up.
You can't. Nothing has emerged from the doorway yet, and it is in shadow. Your companion kind of hunkers over in terror and starts reciting the contents of the storeroom again.
So where are we? Are we outside at this moment? How do we?
Yeah,
We like
you're
around here.
you're exactly where the cursor is right
Yeah,
now. You're
yeah,
kind
right,
of
okay.
equidistant between
And
the
there
two.
was a crash in here as if of a frozen body getting back to its feet.
As if.
Okay.
Alas, your time to react is gone. On the door shambles one of the bodies you thought had been dealt with. It is carrying a ski pole, which
I was
seems
gonna
to
pick that
still
up.
have some gristle on it.
Okay.
Welcome.
Aoi is very much in doubt that an empty pistol is going to do anything to intimidate a frozen space zombie.
Well, you
and
have the stanchion now, so
Yeah, I do have the stanchion as well. Yeah. Are we going into initiative, Chris?
We are actually going into initiative, which is another lovely feature of Death in Space. It's elective initiative, but I am the actor here, so I'm going to go first.
Yeah.
Alas, what these zombies have in stats, they do not have in maneuverability. So he is going to be spending his turn moving towards you.
Does he appear to be going towards any one person, or just?
Well, you're a group, and the deltas are too difficult to kind of ascertain. Now, I think the major was kind of engrossed in the door. So I think I'm going to select Steve as the next actor in the round.
Okay. I have nothing to attack with.
You know what? Actually, I would suggest that we it isn't a retcon so much as I forgot to mention it. I would actually suggest that once Aoi acquired the empty pistol, they would have passed the stanchion back to Sun. Also, because
Fair
you
enough.
can't.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Yeah,
I did intend to do it, but forgot. So
Sure. Okay. In terms of can I move in attack? In terms
I think
of...
you'll definitely be able to get a swing off at it this turn.
Okay.
So you go ahead and we enter into combat. Let me pull up the very handy cheat sheet, which I'm a big fan of. So you're going to roll, this is a melee attack, so you roll 1d20 plus your body score, and your attack is against my damage mitigation, which is, oh my god, so you have to roll better than a 10. These guys are not.
Oh, okay, right.
bit squishy. Well, I don't know how much health they have.
And can I use can I use void points on combat rolls as well?
You can. You can also choose to take a risky maneuver where you, if you succeed, you do extra damage, and if you fail, bad things happen.
Okay. Well, I think hefting this thing like a baseball bat. Why the hell not? I'll do a risky attack using a void point for advantage and just take a swing at this thing's head.
I am counting the damage of this. And did you make that roll?
I am just about to make it.
Let's hear it.
So this is a body roll, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, good job! I used advantage. I rolled a 1 and an 18, which would become 19 and 2 with my body plus 1. So
that's perfect.
19.
You succeed. I'm counting this as I'm basically going to ask you to roll a d2 for your damage.
On a d6, I rolled a 5, so 2, I guess.
So you take a good chunk out of him, but the restless dead are not put down by a mere stanchion. Now, you get to elect
of multiple stanchions.
Yes, you get to elect the next person in the round, but you've only got one choice left.
One choice left.
Yeah.
Nope.
Alex is the only one who hasn't. Oh no, you don't, because you were the first actor. You're right. You've got 2 choices.
Yeah.
I'll just yell glitch, I think, at this point.
Glitch has a big old gun.
Damn it, son. Okay. I think not being the most. I don't know. We only have five shots on this, and there's a lot of bodies. So I think there's going to be some worse situation than this, right? Where it's not 3 against 1, it's 3 against one bigger thing, or lots of scary other bodies that are going to get up. Like if one can get up, there's like 30 bodies around us, right? So I think Glitch is like...
Sun is just staring at Glitch at this point.
Glitch is instead going to rush forwards and not necessarily trying to do damage, but going to like try to kick this thing in the chest and like put it off balance or knock it over.
Okay, so I think we're going to do a resisted roll there.
Yeah.
So I think this is a body check.
Yeah.
And you are opposed by my... I actually roll it as well, then we see who gets the higher score.
Right.
Oh.
Well, that's a nat 20.
Oh, wow, yeah.
This
guy has body plus 3 and managed to roll a grand total of 8. So, yeah, wow. You knock him prone. He is away from combat for a turn.
I feel like I need to put my webcam over my dice now because it's getting sus. But I feel like people aren't going to believe me.
Okay. And that brings us round
Is there
to
any
Matt.
actual damage roll for that as well?
Well, no, because it was an opposed roll. It wasn't an attack. You were aiming.
Okay.
You said you
Well,
were
I
kind
was-
of aiming not to do damage.
I was
but,
basically trying to either negate its ability to hurt myself or the party, or make their job easier, basically, by knocking it prone. Or so I
Sure.
leave that to your discretion as to what happens, basically.
Definitely
So
should have searched those bodies for ammunition before.
Yes.
Before we went further into this. Either way, Aoi is going to look at the crouch survivor. Is she showing any indication of becoming mobile, or is it a case of if she's gonna be got to a safe position that it has to be done manually?
that she's definitely trying to move away from the combat, but paradoxically trying to stay close within kind of the sphere of influence. She's also looking around very anxiously as well.
Okay, well, Aoi is going to kind of grab her by the collar and just kind of pace, kind of slowly, calmly backwards, realizing that they can probably do very little to this undead, space undead individual, and is just going to start pacing backwards slowly towards the far flung, bringing this survivor with them.
She eventually twigs as to what's going on when she kind of gains enough control of her senses to see that there is a ship there, and kind of detaches herself from you with a bit of a shrug and a shuffle of the head, and kind of makes towards the ship. Again,
the ship,
she wants to run.
Sealed up. The ship is definitely sealed up, right? Okay.
The ship is. You can get inside the ship, but Juice is there.
But I don't think she should. I would hope that Glitch has closed the ship behind him.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I had to use a crane to get in, right?
Yeah.
To get the robot in. So
I just want to make sure she
can't
can't get in the ship without us.
No. Yeah, it's
That's
not
all
that
okay.
tight. Like,
That's
I would
fine
have
then.
raised the crane and
That's
shut the
fine. Then
door.
I'm just backing off slowly, in case it goes well.
Interestingly, she's not running for the ship. She seems to be kind of wondering why you aren't running for the ship, but not keen on getting too far away from you.
Okay.
So,
and I named the first person in the next round, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Sun has the big clunky stanchion, so I'm going to go with Sun.
Okay.
Could you briefly describe what the zombie's situation is with this
It's
thing?
prone.
It's prone.
It's lying on the ground. It's well, we'll see if it tries to get back up again, won't we?
You fucking will.
That's what they do.
Steve, are you going to have Shaun of the Dead this one?
Chris?
I'm absolutely going to Shaun of the Dead this one. Yeah.
Always double tap.
Yeah. So again, I'll use my void point. Roll twice. You see, that's less good. Yeah, no, that's not good. I rolled a 2 and a 10, so +1 is 3 and 11,
which is less than 12. Yeah,
which means I
Didn't you
failed.
say thing is 10 though before?
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of the
Defense.
usual 12.
Because
it is a failed combat roll.
Okay.
Stanchion is not something. It is one single piece of metal, so I'm not going to have it degrade.
Didn't you? Sorry, what's the defense stat?
Yeah, I thought the defense stat on the guy was 10.
Oh, of course you're
It
right.
was 10.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
And that's even without if
100%,
you
so that is a
wanted
hit.
to change it for being prone or whatever.
Cool.
Which,
So I do. I do hit.
Yeah, go ahead with your D2.
Just 1 point of damage this time. I rolled a 3 on a D6.
Cool. And
Would
a
kill me in a glitch
satisfying
right
lump. You get to name the next actor.
Well, Glitch is right here, so.
Does this thing still show any signs of animus?
Yes, it's still kind of scrobbling. It seems to be wanting to begin to make itself back to standing upright ability.
I think I'm gonna try and stomp on its head.
So
I
let's
don't
just
know
go for
what the
a
rules are.
standard combat roll then.
Right. Okay. So is it like, do I have advantage for it being prone, or is it a contested body roll, or I don't know?
I just think that I don't think there's going to be an advantage like that. I think that's more of a Symbarum thing where combat situation gives you advantage.
Maybe
if you want to take
situation that if it's prone, then it's not contested.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's not going to be because it isn't a body roll this time. This is a straight up combat roll. What I will say is you can do the risky action and get a double tap at your damage if you succeed.
I don't think we're in desperate gambit territory, and I don't want my ankle nibbled off, so I'm going to stick to a standard combat roll.
Stop undermining the threat of the situation.
I feel like there's plenty of threat left in the bottle, Chris. Yeah. Okay. That is. That's good call. That's because that's a 4. I don't know if you augment these, but it won't matter with a 4.
It won't. You're not going to get to 10. Yeah. So.
Dramatic pause.
It is unfazed.
It's unfazed, right? I think Glitch freaks out a little bit at this, actual making prolonged physical contact with this thing.
You get to name the next actor.
It's got to be Sun then, right?
Me. I think.
Oh, it could be you because you named it the start. Well, for the sake of congruity, Sun is.
You could give the space zombie a go. But...
No, Sun has already
Sun
gone.
just went. Sorry, you're right. You named Sun. In which case, do I have to? Has to be.
Pick me or the zombie.
Yeah. Let's get the zombie out of the way, and then you can respond to what it does.
Yeah, Aoi does not seem to be being particularly helpful, so
it makes more sense. Yeah.
So the zombie is going to make a contested strength roll to rise up again this turn.
Okay.
And that'll be against you, Ergo, because you're the one who's kind of exerting the pressure on it.
Trying to pummel it down.
So if you could roll your body, a body check for me.
Roll your body. That is a 12 plus 1, 13.
You actually succeed. So the frost death does free itself from your grasp, but is kind of has to exert effort to do so, and is kind of pulling itself back up much slower than it would have had its gambit succeeded.
Right. Okay.
And then presumably names me as the next. I mean, not literally.
Oh yes, of course.
Matt.
Frost.
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, Chris, and you can tell me how far I get through this in one round. Aoi is going to just very quickly check where the survivor is and just quite tersely say, stay there. And he's going to walk to the fuel depot, pick up a canister, and then ready their fusion welder.
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck yes.
That's nice, isn't it?
So you tell me I'd like 15 seconds the round, so 10 seconds. So maybe I get to the fuel depot in that time. I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to
you. You're at the fuel depot. Your rescuee prisoner. I don't know what a good way to describe her is perfectly happy to stay near the ship as possible, and is compliant and is not kind of trying to hijack it.
Okay. So next round I can grab a canister. I mean, some of this fuel might not be flammable. I don't know, but some of it might be. And the rocket fuel.
Some of it is very flammable. Some of it is
it's
strategically difficult to flam.
It might not be. Yes, it might. Not
some of it
flammable
too flammable.
I'm planning on. I mean, you describe them as canisters, which makes it sound like they're deck portable. And I'm assuming I can grab a canister, open it, lash a bunch on this thing, and use my welder to set a light to it or something like that. That's my plan. So so you said I'm at the depot, but not.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'm going to name Sun as the first actor because I feel like Sun is the one doing damage.
He has the hurty stick. I mean,
exactly.
Right. Well, do I have void points left? I think that should have gone. I don't think I have void points left now. So yes, I will again try and smash the head of this thing into pulp. And I roll a 14, so 15.
Yep, that's perfect.
Nice.
Go ahead and roll your D2 for damage.
4, 5, 6.
Just 1 point of damage.
Oh, wow. Holding on for dear life, the per zombie. You can name the next actor.
Glitch.
All right. Glitch is freaking out, but he's just going to keep on stamping. He's just going to stamp away with
Yep.
reckless
and that's
abandon.
another D20, and you're aiming for
Right.
10.
Okay. That is a 13 plus is body, right? So 13 plus 1?
Yep. That is a success by any measure. As a physical attack, you get a D2 off the back of that.
Right. D6. That's a
I like how
5.
just stomping it's the same as using a length of metal pipe.
I feel like my legs are being given too much credit with my yeah. I'd roll the 5 on the D6.
Oh, wow. Okay, so a lucky shot, and you can hear the sickening crack of the neck. The movement ceases.
Is it like hitting a watermelon with a frozen watermelon with a baseball bat? Does it smash?
It does not explode,
The
alas.
thing we're all familiar with.
Every day, mate. Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think Glitch is sort of thoroughly out of breath and sort of, hands on knees, heaving at this point. Just like stumbles a few steps away from the thing.
Maybe perhaps leaning on the rifle that would have killed it in one shot.
Yes, absolutely doing that.
Yeah, I'm just sort of shaking my head at. Wow.
Okay, so
Look,
we
it's
can
precious.
gather ourselves and probably recoalesce near the door, or are you having second thoughts about that particular door?
Before we even think about that door, I think we should take a break.
Okay, we can take another 10-minute break for you to decide which door you wish to go through.
If
And when we
any.
return, let's see what horrors await within the other building.
Yeah, and
Aoi is I'll not lie. Aoi is super giving a lot of thought to just rabbiting.
fucking off. Yeah, I'm 100%. Yeah.
At the risk of anti-climaxing this
I'm just
scenario.
looking forward to the part where everyone's like, "Oh, Glitch, you're so smart for leaving 5 rounds in that rifle. Like, what how fast seen?
Aoi admires your efficiency. If something can be clubbed to death rather than use up precious ammunition,
100%.
absolutely. We
Great.
could sell that ammunition later.
I mean, I'd rather shoot something, but yeah,
Sure.
sure.
So maybe actually as a nice cliffhanger and as our parting note before we go into the break, as you're Glitch, as you're kind of leaning on the rifle to catch your breath, you see first flakes of snow kind of getting blown across your field of vision.
Fun.
And that is your
Great.
cliffhanger. See you in 10 minutes, everyone.
See you in
10
10.
minutes.